PR Connections Radio presents.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the PR Connections Labor Day Marathon. My name is Guy Dawson, and I am your host, and I'm the founder of PRConnectionsRadio.com. I am beyond excited for another opportunity to be a part of this marathon. We have been hosting these for the last couple of years on specific holidays. We have been hosting them on January 1st, Memorial Day, and Labor Day. And it's just an opportunity for us at PRConnectionsRadio.com to provide you with quality entertainment during a holiday weekend, to showcase the amazing podcasts that we have on this network. And again, this is just such an enjoyable time for me watching this network evolve, the shows that we're adding, all the fun that we have in the development of this streaming platform. This was a vision that I had during the pandemic, actually, which was an interesting time on so many levels, but in a lot of ways, I greatly appreciate some of the solitude that we all had during the pandemic, because it was a time where I had a vision of developing some type of a network, and through technology and that solitude, it really kind of brought this whole concept together of how we could develop a streaming network that would be web-based, that could stream across multiple platforms. And then just by chance, a few months into the pandemic, I was introduced to a platform that would allow us to be able to create these streams. And the rest is history. Over the last couple of years, we've just continued to develop the platform for PRConnectionsRadio.com. And we are now hosting, I believe, 16 shows on this network, which is really a huge evolution. When we got this started, I was the only person that had a show, and I started adding a few hosts early in 2020, and here we are now, several years later. We have a lot more shows, a lot more presence. We pretty much are broadcasting 7 days a week on this network, and there's lots of great things in the works that we want to do to grow this media platform. And again, one of the things that I always want to do when we host these shows is I want to give a big shout out to the staff here at PRConnectionsRadio.com. Specifically today, we have Dana Wall Oakley, who's the Chief Operations Officer for this network, and she does so much behind the scenes to make all of this happen. It's had such a big part in the development of this network. And Dana, I want to really let you know how much we appreciate all the hard work that you put into helping this network to run and for it to grow. And we've also got a relatively new staff member named Armonte Barber. And this young man is super sharp. He is our virtual engineer, and he's back behind the scenes right now making all this happen. Yes, I'm here running my mouth, but there's somebody behind the scenes who's really making this run. And so thank you so much, Armonte, for your contributions to the network and all the staff and podcasters here at PRConnectionsRadio.com. This happens because we all do it together. And so we've got a host of podcasts that we're going to be sharing with you today, but we're going to get it started with a very, very good friend of mine for many years, and he is going to be launching a podcast on our network very shortly, and I just want to talk to him about that and a whole lot of other topics. Let me bring my good friend, Jesse Oakley III. He is the not the new host, but he's the host of the Sunday Morning Chat Series, a show that's going to be coming to PR Connections. Welcome to the marathon, Jesse.
Thank you, Guy, and welcome everybody out there in PR Connections and everyone. And I hope you're ready to hear some happy people today.
Yes, this is a happy guy, and he has great reason to be, because he creates happiness in his own life. And I believe that it's infectious, right, Jesse? I believe that positivity, which is something that you exemplify, and just really constructive thinking, encouragement it's something that is so needed in this world today, and it rubs off on people, doesn't it, Jesse? People around you, you inspire them.
It certainly does. And when I got started on this podcast, let alone my book, Green's Happy People, I thought, what's the best way to connect to people? And I thought, okay, let me go ahead and connect to the positive people, the happy people. Why did I do this? Well, first I tried it with the unhappy people. It didn't go too far. Then I tried it with the angry people. Almost got chased out of Las Vegas. And then I tried it with the confused people. And they looked at me and said, huh? So my best bet and my best voice is always for the happy people, because the happy people keep the world moving. The happy people are the dreamers, the doers, the thinkers, the more adventurous ones, and they do rock. So when I think about happy people, I think about all the happy people I'm about to interview, and this is going to be a darn good feeling, and it's going to be a darn good show.
Yeah, tell us about the book that you wrote, Jesse. Speaking of happy people, and I know you're huge when it comes to personal development, reading good books. Tell us about the book that you wrote.
Well, the book I wrote is called Greetings, Happy People, The Positive Words and Wisdoms Through the Eyes of Mr. I. And what it's all about are different scenarios and different situations I've been a part of, and the positive learning lessons that are behind them. Say, for instance, I talk about a story about my first time at karaoke, getting very nervous, getting very shy, getting very timid, and wondering how my voice is going to sound when I sing. And I look at the experience and I thought, at the end, the only thing that's holding me back is my own fear. I got to just go out there and do what I need to do. And that's just an example of what I share with you about my book, Green's Happy People. You can get this book on Amazon. You can get this book on Barnes & Nobles. You can get this book on Walmart.com. You can just type in Jesse Oakley III on those websites, and bam, my book is there. And that's all about positive words and wisdom for the happy people. And it's very interesting that you mentioned this book. This book was written a while ago, but when I was at the recent Toastmasters International Convention in Anaheim, California, there was a Toastmaster out there that I met, and she had a book. It's like, I'm one of your biggest fans. Can I get your autograph? I was like, you want my autograph? Cool. So I had a chance to autograph the book, and we took a couple pictures together. And I thought, there are people that are reading my book and they love it. And I have fans behind this too. So it was a mind-blowing experience down in Anaheim to meet this wonderful Toastmaster at his convention, just talking about my book, enjoying the book, and just giving her an autograph.
Yeah, speaking of Toastmasters, the first time that Jesse ever inspired me was at a Toastmaster event in 2006.
Yeah.
It was what was the name of the club out at Nellis Air Force Base? It was the first time I had ever been to a Toastmaster function. I think Toastmasters is one of the most wonderful organizations in the world, but I had never been to a meeting before, and I went to this event. It was a kickoff event for a brand new club that Toastmasters was chartering out at Nellis Air Force Base here in Las Vegas, and I met Jesse there. I don't know if you even remember meeting me that day, Jesse, but I do remember meeting you, and I was just so impressed with Jesse because he embodied Toastmasters. Just the way that he carried himself, just his whole attitude about communication, it was extremely inspiring. And within a couple of months, I became a member of Toastmasters. You really inspired me that day, Jesse.
Thank you very much. And I tell you what, it's all about inspiration, it's all about positivity, and it's all about growth. And the club was called Flying High Toastmasters.
Yes.
And that was at Nellis Air Force Base. And that was truly an amazing chance, getting a chance to meet with yourself, Guy, because I knew at that time you had a certain energy, you had a certain positive aura about you, and you are one of those people that was going to make some noise and take the world on. And a few years later, you're doing it. And again, I really appreciate the chance and opportunity of meeting you, Guy, because it's like attracts like. You know, you have energy people, you have enthusiastic people, and it seemed to attract each other. And that night at 2006, where we had that club of Flying High Toastmasters, we knew that we saw something in each other, and bam, the rest is history.
Yeah. I can still remember that night, Jesse, also because the Cowboys were playing in the playoffs that night, and they lost Tony Romo. Yeah, I want to stay on a positive note right now, but that's one of the things that I always think about. But yes, we had so much fun at that event, and Toastmasters International, again, if you want to get around a lot of positive people, it's a great organization to be a part of. And Jesse, you have definitely engaged in Toastmasters. Tell us about your journey. How'd you end up in it? Will you share that with the audience?
I'll be more than happy to. Let's go back to 1995. I was a 19-year-old civil engineering student. Just think about this. Back in the time where I had hair, but it was in the form of a flat top fro. I had the high water jeans. I was nervous giving a presentation as an engineering student. I said, so's, and I was stuttering. I was stammering. I was freaking out for 2 minutes. 2-minute speech. And then the founder of the engineering school, Herbert Wells, looked me up and down in all my sweatiness and said, Jesse, that was one interesting presentation. I think I might have something that could help you out. And it was Speechcraft. It was an 8-week condensed version of Toastmasters International. And what it gave me was the opportunity to actually be a Toastmaster or the person that heads the meeting, give a speech, think of an impromptu answer, ask impromptu questions, and evaluate. And after those 8 weeks, I loved it so much, I joined 2 more sessions before graduating at UNLV with a Bachelor's of Science degree in Civil Engineering. 3 years after I graduated from UNLV, I had certain signs come to me. And this one sign was at a church service. And we were talking about Father's Day. And there's some people that had interesting presentations. My mom says, hey, you can speak very well. Go up and speak about your father. And I got a chance to speak about my dad, Jesse Oakley Jr., and that was a positive applause. And there was basically a positive reaction because I spoke well, actually carried myself very well too. That was one sign. And the second sign was at a training session, someone showed the video of Les Brown. And Les Brown talked about your passions, your goals, what are you passionate about? And if you feel very passionate, go out and do it. Do your best at it. And I figured, you know what? I really miss that Toastmasters. I want to come back to it. And in 2002, I came back to Toastmasters. And when I started off at my home club of Star Masters Toastmasters, I went from the beginning, and I took on a leadership journey that still continues to this day in 2024, 22 years later.
Yes, every time I hear your story, Jesse, about you being a very shy person, it really reinforces my belief that you can become more than what you began as. So for those of you out there who might be shy and don't think you could ever be an effective speaker, I think Jesse is an excellent example. For me, when I joined Toastmasters, it wasn't a matter of being afraid to speak. There were other things that I've gotten from my journey in Toastmasters, but for a lot of people, they join for that very reason, Jesse. They're just deathly afraid of speaking, and you can overcome that. You are proof of the fact that you might be a shy person that isn't very adept at expressing yourself, but that doesn't mean that it always has to be that way, right, Jesse?
It doesn't always have to be that way. And the thing is, the only person that could make or break any type of success is a person you see in the mirror. You have a choice to make. And I made my choice when I stepped forward after my professor recommendation on joining Toastmasters through the Speechcraft session. And I made a choice to come back into Toastmasters. You are your own success. You hold your own destiny in the palm of your hands and right here in your heart. Once you're able to realize that and you're able to make those steps and do what you need to do, at first, it may get a little rough. It may get a little challenging. But as you stay the course and keep doing what you're doing over and over, step by step, then you realize that the journey that you made will inspire other people. And yes, you did that, all because you made a choice in what you want to do. Because the fate of your own hands lies right here in your hands and in your heart. If you're able to do that, then you know you'll be a success in your own right.
Yeah, absolutely, Jesse. And along with, again, growing as a speaker, you've had quite a journey as a leader in Toastmasters. I think I personally didn't really know that there was a leadership track when I joined the organization. I just thought it was about becoming a better speaker, and I was really excited about that. But you have gone on quite a journey in terms of leadership growth. Maybe you could share with the audience about the leadership positions that you've held as a member of Toastmasters.
It'll be my pleasure. I've held all the club officers positions in the club officers for Toastmasters. I've been a club president, vice president of education, who handles the scheduling and the goal settings, the vice president of membership, who handles membership benefits and welfare, the public relations and getting the word out, secretary taking the notes, treasurer keeping track of the finances, and sergeant at arms setting up the meeting and starting the meeting. That's it. Those are the ones that I was able to take care of in a club officer setting. Now, in the area, which is above the club level, I became an area director, but back then they were known as area governors from 2005 to 2007. In the first year of my area governorship, I helped the area get to distinguished honors. And in the second year, in 2006 to 2007, I was able to help the community get to select distinguished honors. And then I went up to division, which is above area, and became a division governor, which is now called division director. And in 2008 and 2009, I not only helped the team reach President's Distinguished Division honors, but out of the 5 areas in the division, 4 out of the 5 became President's Distinguished, one of which happens to be Select Distinguished. Darn, almost had a perfect run. And then after that, I decided to go into the trio leadership, a district trio leadership. Now, back then, they had Lieutenant Governor Marketing, Lieutenant Governor Education and Training, and District Governor. And right now, they call it Club Growth Director, Program Quality Director, and District Director. But in my first run as a district leader, it started off in 2010, where I was back then, Lieutenant Governor Marketing. And I learned the role, and I went up to Lieutenant Governor Education and Training. And in 2012 to 2013, I became a district governor. And that was on the day I actually got married to my beloved wife, Dana Wall Oakley. And we wanted to save that story for a little bit. But after I became a district governor from 2012 to 2013, I thought that my role was over. And then I get a phone call from the Chief Executive Officer, Daniel Rex, about an opportunity to actually chair a convention in Las Vegas. So I took the opportunity, and I told Daniel Rex that I needed under one condition: I need a partner. And who better partner than my wife, Dana Wall Oakley? She's my right brain, and I was able to work with her very well. And we had a successful convention in Las Vegas in 2015 at Caesar's Palace. And there are so many people that still talk about the convention to this day. And then after that, I went on to become a region advisor. And above the district was region. And I was able to be a region advisor and work with district leaders in California, Nevada, Oregon, and Hawaii. And then after that, I took a 5-year break and decided to run for international director and be a part of the Toastmasters International Board of Directors in 2002. I ran for the position, I won, and from 2002 to 2004, which is a couple weeks ago, I served as a international director from Region 2 for Toastmasters. And I tell you what, going from club officer to international director, it's truly an amazing journey. And guess what? The journey will still continue to this day.
Right. Yes, Jesse. Again, I've had the opportunity to watch you on this journey and accompany you. I think I was an area governor when you were district governor.
Right.
And so I assumed many of these leadership positions that you have assumed. And again, it's the example. It's watching people succeed that can be so inspiring. And I remember when Jesse got elected international director a couple of years ago, what an exciting time that was, because I was a part of the committee and we helped to get him elected. And it's, I think a big part, Jesse, of really being able to savor your journey is getting excited for other people while they're on their journeys, because that's what it's all about, right? The more you get excited about other people that are on their journeys, it enhances your journey.
It certainly does. And I tell you what, the author of Don Quixote, Miguel de Cervantes, said it best when he said that the journey is better than the end. People focus on the end results, and that is cool. Yet, if you get from point A to point B, you got to realize the journey that you're willing to take. The journey, sometimes it may be bumpy, sometimes it may be straight, but other times, if you still stick to course and focus on your journey, then that is truly amazing. And I also want to quote a shampoo commercial, a shampoo ad. If you don't look good, we don't look good. So, yeah, it's all about teamwork and teamwork effort, because if one person looks good in front of whether it's the camera or on the stage or anything else, then we all look good because it is a team effort. I could tell you right now that when I was running for international director 2 years ago, it wasn't a me show, it was a we show. Guy, you are a wonderful person to actually help with the campaign. And I have other people on the campaign all over the continental United States. And the one person that was also fantastic in this campaign was my campaign manager. And who was my campaign manager? Oh, I know. My campaign manager was none other than my right brain and my wife, Dana Wall Oakley. And without her, I would not be standing on the stage in Anaheim saying my goodbyes, and I will not be able to enjoy the journey I've learned as a member of the Toastmasters Board of International Director. And Dana, if you're out there, love you and thank you.
So let's talk about Dana really quickly, Jesse. Your interesting wedding, which was legendary. I got a chance to be there. Maybe you could share with the audience about how you and Dana got married.
How we got married. It was Christmas of 2009. And I tell you, we were exchanging our Christmas gifts. And there was one Christmas gift. It was in a pink bag. And I wanted to make sure the pink bag was secure, so I stapled the pink bag. And after Dana removed the staples from the bag, she saw a box. And inside the small box was a ring. And when she opened it up, Dana was like, ah, oh my goodness. And me, Mr. Toastmaster, said those magical words right in front of her. Because I was thrown off. So after I picked my tongue up from the ground and put it back in my mouth, Dana says, I won't say yes unless you ask me. So we went outside underneath the stars at Christmas night. I proposed to her and she said yes. Let's fast forward over to 2012, July 1st, 2012, pardon me, where we got married. And it was an amazing event. It was a Toastmasters wedding. And get this, that was the first day I became district governor. But for my wife to get her distinguished Toastmaster, she has to perform a high performance leadership project. And guess what her project was? It was the wedding. It was the wedding. And I asked her, is there anything that I need to do in order to get ready? And she said, stay at the altar. And that's the most important thing. And we got married. We had a fun time. And I tell you what, it was truly amazing. And I can tell you this, being a part of that experience was mind blowing because we had Toastmasters, we had guests, we had family, we had a whole bunch of people that were at that wedding. And guess what? The main evaluator of that wedding was my mother-in-law, Phyllis Wall. She was the main evaluator. And you know, Toastmasters is in a family when you have a wedding and we have an evaluator come by and check out what you need to do. And in addition to that, you also had a honeymoon. And where was the honeymoon? The 2012 Toastmasters International Convention in Orlando, Florida. That was our honeymoon. So you say that my wife, my mother-in-law, myself, we were diehard Toastmasters. And I'll tell you what, when I said I do, I mean, it may have been quick, but I'll tell you what, I do. And we did.
Yeah. I had so much fun at that wedding, Jesse, and your commitment to Toastmasters again throughout the years is definitely something that is inspiring. Last thing I want to ask you today, though, is what can people expect from the Sunday morning chat series that this podcast that you're going to be hosting here?
Oh, they can expect a lot from the Sunday morning chat series. I will interview movers and shakers that are making a big difference in their communities, whether they be Toastmasters, whether they be authors, whether they be musicians, whether they be masters of their craft and teaching, adapting to different situations, talk about baseball. The guests are signing up, and all you got to do is just check out the Sunday morning chat series every Sunday at 9 a.m., hosted by yours truly, Jesse Oakley III. It's gonna be a can't miss experience, and I hope to see all of you there as we celebrate positive words of wisdom for you, the happy people. So hopefully you get a chance to stick around and see the Sunday morning chat series with me, Jesse Oakley III, and a plethora of happy people that are out there that get to interview.
Yes, Jesse, I'm looking forward to seeing the friends that you bring. I know you have a lot of friends all over the world. And I think for those of you out there who are looking for opportunities to be inspired, Some of the people that Jesse will interview will certainly do that. And again, thank you for bringing your great energy to help us get this started today, Jesse. And I am really looking forward to watching your podcast. I just see tremendous growth, and I've already seen tremendous growth in you, and it just never stops, right, Jesse? Just learn, and do more.
The journey always continues. And let's go, happy people, because happy people rock.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Jesse. And again, for all of those of you out there, please tune in to the Sunday morning chat series with Jesse Oakley III here at prconnectionsradio.com. Take care of yourself, Jesse.
Take care.
All right. Well, the marathon continues. My next guest is a good friend of mine who I also, by coincidence, total coincidence, also met in Toastmasters many years ago. And Brian is actually one of the original podcasts on this network. He and I had known each other for many years, and he had a concept that he's been working on that I think provides so much value. And one day we were just having a talk, and I said, hey, what do you think about creating a podcast, Brian? And he ended up developing this podcast. And as I have mentioned before, he's one of the people that has helped to build this network. And I'm going to bring Brian Gardner with We Have the Power on stage.
Good morning.
You are Mr. Brian Gardner. How are you, my friend?
Really good. I want to be on Jesse's show, man. My art gets people smiling. Look at this. That's my new coloring book. I got to be on his show. So anyway, back to We Have the Power. But yeah, I thank you for those nice words about the fact that I started out when this was just getting underway, and you helped me come up with the name, which I think is perfect. We Have the Power. Yeah, Brian, again, your art, I see that's something that you're really, really evolved, and congratulations on all your success with your art, and also with the success that you've had in the development of this podcast. I guess it's been more than 2 years now. I'm into my 4th season. Yes. You've done a lot of shows, and tell me, why do you keep doing it, Brian? I mean, we love having you here. But for you, what do you get out of providing these shows for people? Well, a while back, through some realizations I had, I came to the idea that all of us play a part in this country that is unique. I don't know another country in the world. We just had the Olympics. I don't know another country in the world that started their country and said, I want a Bill of Rights and the Constitution. We're the only ones. But what an awesome concept that you put the power back into the hands of the people. Because really, I call them public servants. The senators and Congress members are supposed to be working for us. And so I love this idea of taking my responsibility. It's not as big as Sean Hannity. It's not as small, as someone who doesn't do anything. But I'm doing something to put the message out there that everybody can do something, and you're instilling not only freedom for yourself, but for your future generations. And that I'm completely passionate about. Yes, the empowerment, Brian. And I think that people really get it when I see a lot of the feedback that you get, because we stream these shows on so many different platforms, and I get replies and responses about these videos. Right. I think that empowerment in these times where a lot of people feel disempowered. Yeah, and exactly. The fact that you are offering principles that can help people embrace their power, and a lot of very simple principles. The things that you talk about are not complicated. They're universal concepts, right, Brian? Yeah. That a lot of us, they teach you these things when you're 4 or 5 years old, and sometimes it's like we lose sight over the course of our lives. You reintroduce us to what I'm really going to get in trouble for is one of my ideas for the average woman or man. Next time you write, email, text, call your elected official, say, public servant, Senator Jones, public servant, Senator, Smith. Now, if they act badly to that, maybe they're not really working for me. If they go, yeah, I'm a public servant, what can I do for you? That's somebody you want to keep electing. And that is contained in what I'm doing on my show, is a series where I'm reading the entirety of my book, Plan for America and the World. And I know, like you said, people feel, what can I do? I'm just a housewife. I'm just a bricklayer, Hey, let me tell you, you start calling your elected officials, public servants. Don't mention my name, please. Okay.
Yeah, well, everyone knows where to find you, Brian. I'm going to step off of this stage because this is really all about you.
All right.
Yes. Keep inspiring, Brian. And so I would like to introduce Brian Gardner, the host of We Have the Power.
Yes. And thank you to Guy, because he is the platform that allows me, I'm just going to adjust the camera a little bit here. He's the one that allows me to have this platform. And today we're not going to run the infomercial I normally do, because I have quite a long segment that I want to do from my book on chapter 6. It's called Our Students. And that is from my book, Plan for America and the World. And I always say that you can get an electronic copy of this book for free by emailing me at bgardner, Gardner, bgardner2323 at yahoo.com, or you can ask for a copy by providing me a mailing address. The quote at the beginning of chapter 6 on Our Students: the foundation of every state is the education of its youth. This was by a biographer of ancient Greek philosophies, and this is so true. Young people are the future of any country or any world, and so we must invest in them. And that's how I start off this chapter. Since I believe that young people are our finest natural resource, and they represent the future of America and this world, I believe we should invest in them. By investing in young people, we assist our future to be a bright one, full of hope and promise and opportunities to improve humanity and advance as needed our technology. I do not believe we are doing that as well as we could be. We have allowed psychiatry, and through them, the pharmaceutical companies, to gain too much of a foothold, some say a stranglehold, within our public school system. Where there should be a qualified and non-psychiatric nutrition counselor, we have a psychiatrist or psychologist paid by the taxpayers to monitor seemingly every aspect of student behavior. Their various associations have come up with the manufactured attention deficit disorder, ADD, and the similarly made up attention deficit hyperactive disorder, ADHD. You might have heard of these terms before. They are fake. Their lists of suspect behavior are so inclusive that nearly every child could end up on some sort of psychiatric drug. In most cases, the child was never tested for the various vitamin deficiencies they may have. The children who are claimed to need psychiatric drugs have never been checked for what food allergies might be contributing to either suspect behavior or lack of study progress, or any other factor that might be interfering with their studies or causing misbehavior. Naturally, pharmaceutical companies work covertly against any school system that institutes a policy of checking these items first, as they do not make any profit from the sale of vitamins. Psychiatric drugs are a poison of a type which produce lifelong, debilitating side effects. Some psychiatrists would join in on a covert plan against such schools because if the truth were known about how dangerous and potentially damaging psychiatric drugs truly are, these psychiatrists would lose their positions in the school systems all over the Americas and the world With this kind of loss, their power and income would be severely diminished. The research which has been suppressed shows clearly that nearly every student involved with a shooting at schools was either on psychiatric medication or had gone off these drugs unsupervised, with the tragic resultant side effects we have seen again and again. And it can't be stated enough, if your child or you are on psychiatric medications, never, ever cold turkey. That means stop taking them abruptly. You must be weaned properly off these drugs by a non-psychiatric nutritionist or medical supervisor. Very important. So we make sure we have nutritionists in every school. We ban psychiatric drugs once those students on them are medically supervised in their withdrawal off of them. Then we take the next necessary steps so that our students can really understand and learn information for use and not robotic, just memorization. We require that every student coming to school has at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep before class. They should be well rested and well fed, unless the student is part of a school breakfast program. Now, the school breakfast program is something I would like to see phased out, and here's why. If we continue to offer school breakfasts, let me say that word again. We've continued off school breakfasts. We allow the parents of the child to continue to be lax in their responsibility for the child. After all, it is the parents' responsibility, not the schools and not the taxpayers' responsibility, to see that the child has a proper protein-based, healthy, and nutritionally sound breakfast before coming to school. While I do not agree with a strict dress code or uniforms in schools, I do believe that common decency, a rational outlook, proper managing of this issue, and appropriate dress should be the norm. By that, I mean not the sloppy side end of the spectrum and not formal dress uniforms on the other end. I have seen high school students, females primarily, wearing pants that were far too short on their way to school, and of course, males wearing the trendy pants, showing, in many cases, their underwear. Students are there to study, not to distract their fellow students by wearing inappropriate clothing. Students should have some leeway to express the current norms in fashion, but within guidelines of good taste. Proper dress and clothing for the classroom should not be overly distracting. Of course, the heart of the matter is classroom studying and learning, and here the technology of study found in applied scholastics needs to be implemented nationwide and worldwide. This is the best way to help students through any barrier to study. It is the way to full understanding and use of the materials they are studying. The real purpose for study, use. The emphasis needs to be on the use of the material they are studying, not just on tests. Though through testing, the level of understanding and retention can be addressed and should be. Applied scholastics with locations all over the world is a check sheet-based type of study technology. A student reads something, make sure they understand it, and then they sign that item off and they go on to their next assignment.
Everything okay, Brian?
For some reason, something is frozen up here. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. Well, we can still see you and hear you.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to continue then. I'm sorry about the gap. And so I have about 15 minutes left.
Yeah, that's right, Brian. Yep, do your thing.
So I apologize. For some reason on my end, it has frozen up. I'm going to continue on with this, and we'll wrap up this chapter. So a student reads something, make sure they understand it, and then they sign that item off, and they go on to their next assignment. In this way, the leader and the teacher can easily set a target with each student that matches their skill level, what will be accomplished in the classroom segment this day, etc. The student then has a goal to try and meet or beat this target with the resultant feeling of success when they reach or exceed it. They can get assistance from the teacher if they did not meet their target. Also, no student is compared to any other. Each student works at their own pace. Please visit http://www.appliedsscholastics.org for more information. Other barriers to study have been discovered and are addressed within the Applied Scholastics teaching methods. These solve some of the most basic problems of grasping concepts and teaching information so the students can use what they have learned. Adopting the Applied Scholastics, let me try that once again, Applied Scholastics teaching system nationwide and worldwide would be an act of investing in our student population. This would assist them to be bright, sufficiently critical and analytical thinkers in order to be in the position of becoming good stewards of the freedoms that must be maintained in this country and this world. Applied Scholastics has also discovered that misunderstood words in the materials the student is studying can often cause the student to exhibit behavior that would be mislabeled as ADHD and ADD and all of that. However, once the misunderstood words and concepts are cleared up, the behavior and study problems disappear. By creating a whole new generation of students that can analyze, think, debate, ponder, and question, we will be arming our students and a whole new generation with the abilities needed to come up with the advanced technology required to solve coming societal, environmental, and governmental problems. We will be establishing a whole generation of young people that cannot be fooled by the propaganda coming from most major news services. This is content which is one-sided and is covertly controlled by the perverted elite. Other requirements for graduation should be that the students must be taught so they are able to show their grasp and proficiency in the following areas. These would be required curriculum before graduation. Unarmed physical self-defense skills, basic nutrition knowledge, basic healthy cooking skills, basic survival skills, should it ever occur that our infrastructure is compromised by either enemies or natural disasters, disaster preparedness training in the Community Emergency Response Team CERT program authorized by FEMA, basic sewing skills, paper map reading, so that if the grid is down, students would still be able to locate themselves and use a paper map, basic organizing lifetime exercise knowledge so that more Americans are fit and in good health, basic food ingredient and additives knowledge, basics of ethics, and of data evaluation, so our students can evaluate data so as not to be confused by or fooled by any of our public servants. Understanding of the U.S. Constitution and the Bill of Rights, knowledge of how to operate, clean, and use handguns, rifles, and shotguns. All of course, under strictly enforced guidelines, supervised by highly qualified instructors at a safe location, not the public school. But during regular school hours, defensive and responsibility driver training, meaning they would be taught how to avoid accidents by being a defensive driver. They would also be taught that driving is a privilege, not a right. This would include how a responsible driver conducts oneself, i.e., following all posted and written laws and avoiding distracted, drug, drunk, or aggressive driving or talking on the cell phone. A basic course in communication so that graduating students know the basics of communication, that they become competent at communicating and know all about how to avoid the creation of problems through their own mistakes in communicating, how to repair upsets and disputes with the communication skills they will learn, basics of money, finances, and budgeting, personal responsibility, that one is responsible for the condition one is in, and that trying to push the blame for one's condition off to another set of factors or another is not the way to be all one can be. It leads to a less than truly competent individual. Karma as a fact, not a religious concept, so that students understand that if they treat another badly, they are harming themselves as well. And finally, an introduction to the concept of reincarnation. Students would be free to make up their own mind regarding reincarnation, but let me propose something quite dynamic to you. If the world at large came to realize that reincarnation was a fact, something that does happen, and all individuals knew that they were coming right back here after their current life was over, wouldn't most individuals take better care of this world this lifetime? Wouldn't they be more responsible during this life so that hopefully they would return to a world in good shape, which was not polluted beyond any chance of supporting life, or worse, mostly destroyed? I believe they would. We should require that graduating students can demonstrate their proficiency in these and perhaps other areas along with the 3 R's, of course, so that we turn out a generation with the skills to be competent stewards of the country they will inherit as they grow into adults. I personally would like to see all of this in place and have the world go out to the world. Guess what? Do not mess with Americans. They are healthy and smart. They know self-defense and are proficient with a gun. And if you try to bring them down by destroying their infrastructure, that won't stop them either, as they know survival skills as well. You just cannot win against an American. When individuals become more powerful and all they can be, the members of the perverted elite, insane, psychotic, evil intentioned individuals that they are, become afraid of such abilities in people and those who support such a generation of individuals. This is just about the right amount of real knowledge, skill, and responsibility which is required to keep our form of government intact and vibrant. Such well-rounded individuals made this country the symbol of freedom and liberty it has stood for previously and hopefully for the future to come. This type of individual will preserve for generations our freedoms and liberties. Only by investing in our students and ensuring that they can demonstrate skills in a variety of the aforementioned areas and can show how to use what they have learned, do we start to ensure that our future and the future of this country and this world will continue to be a positive and bright one. Now, my show airs Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Coast time. We have the power. I'm your host, Brian Gardner. The next chapters we're going to take up that I will be reading are Chapter 7 about alcohol and drugs, a very important issue in our society. Chapter 8, morals and ethics. And then we will conclude probably that segment with Chapter 9, international human rights. Now, if you take a look at the chapter Alcohol and Drugs, Morals and Ethics, and Human Rights, you have some foundations of what can either take a country down or if you avoid the problems with those areas I mentioned and have true morals and ethics and individual human rights, you start to build a new civilization that will support individuals' rights and freedoms. That's what I want to see. That is what We Have the Power is all about. Now, if you live in a country where the government has taken over anything and everything, you don't really need to do that much. But in this country, the thing that keeps our freedoms and liberties alive is our actions in preserving them. Because there's always going to be somebody who has a vested interest who's trying to tear them down. We don't want to see that happen. So I want you, in the privacy of your own thoughts, to see what you could do, either large or small, to play a part in making sure that our freedoms and liberties continue for ourselves and for future generations to come. I thank you for watching. I thank you to Guy for making this wonderful network that we all can have podcast and talk about important issues. And I will see you all Thursday, 5 p.m. Pacific Coast time each week on We Have the Power. Thank you very much.
Thank you again so much, Brian, for the perspectives that you bring. And one more time, will you share with the audience that wonderful book?
Yes.
That you have been promoting for many years, that has concepts that I think are absolutely necessary in society today.
Plan for America and the World. And again, if you want an electronic copy, bgardner2323@yahoo.com. If you'd like a hard copy, that will also be freely sent to you. No postage charges. You just get in touch with me and give me a mailing address. Your mailing address will not be used for anything but to send you this book. It's important.
All right. Well, if you get an opportunity to purchase that book, and of course,
not purchased, it's free.
Oh, that's right. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't want to mess up your flow, Brian. But yes, please reach out to Brian for his wonderful book and continue to follow his podcast. I know you've got quite a following out there, Brian, in the podcast world of people who are enjoying the content that you're sharing. And so again, thank you so much for being a part of another one of these marathons. And I wish you nothing but continued success with your outstanding podcast.
Thank you. We'll talk to you soon.
All right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Brian. Guess what? For those of you who don't know, and there's probably not a single person out there who doesn't know, that we are in the middle of a political season. And here at prconnectionsradio.com, we are going to engage in the political process in a little bit different way than a traditional network might do it. We've got some exciting things coming in terms of having a lot of political leaders coming on and perspectives that are presented in a way that could be different than traditional media. But the one thing that I want to share with all of you who are watching right now is you're going to watch the world premiere of a promotional video that we've developed to kick off the political season. I guess they talk a lot about after Labor Day weekend is when really everything kicks in. And for me, having been a political science major in college and someone who enjoys the political process, as a viewer, not as one that takes sides, I think that you're going to see a lot of that with our network over the next couple of months. We're going to talk a lot about civics, voting, being a part of the process, being a part of the solution. But anyway, we've got this promo, and I want you all to take a look at it really quickly. All right, Monty, whenever you're ready.
Voting is more than just a right, it's a powerful tool for change. Every vote counts and every voice matters. Voting protects your rights and helps to build a better future. And it's a way to hold our leaders accountable. Voting isn't just about the big elections either. Local elections impact our daily lives. It is important to study the candidates and the issues in order to make an informed decision. Election 2024. Don't sit it out. Your vote is your power.
All right, so there's the launch of the political season here at prconnectionsradio.com. For those of you who listen to the show or watch these shows regularly, stay tuned. There's a lot more where that has come from. We are going to, for the first time, engage in the political process on this network. Again, it'll be in a kind of a non-traditional way, maybe a little bit different than what you're accustomed to with larger traditional media. This is one of the things that I greatly enjoy about the surge of independent media, is that our approach to presenting ideas that we are all very familiar with can sometimes be different than what you will find on other media platforms. But I think you're going to enjoy our perspective when it comes to the political process over these next few months. So stay tuned for more details about things that we're going to be doing here politically at prconnectionsradio.com. The next podcaster who will be presenting at the marathon is a real go-getter and a connector, and she exemplifies the name of the show that she hosts. And I'm going to bring Penny Tyndall with the Professionals onto the stage. Hello, Miss Penny Tyndall.
Hello, Guy. I'm really excited to see your new political podcast. I'm not political, but I definitely want to stay in tune. And I believe the rights are very important for us to protect.
Absolutely. We are very excited about engaging in the political process. And we're looking forward to having all of our hosts be a part of it. Again, in the way that you're a part of it, right? Where you said that you were not political. You don't have to be political. I know this might be like kind of talking in circles, so I don't mean it to be that way. I told you guys I was a political science major, right?
Oh, okay, perfect. Makes a lot of sense. And now I see that.
No, we are really looking forward to engaging, but let's talk about you and the Professionals podcast. Which is just growing in influence, and it seems like you're having so much fun with it.
Yes. So the Professionals, when I started, I wanted to dig deep and meet business professionals and entrepreneurs and also nonprofits that want to connect with the local communities. Right now the economy is a little bit tough. So a lot of businesses want to not diversify, but kind of let people know what they're all about. And this is a perfect forum for you. We're very appreciative to Guy Dawson and PR Connections Radio. But what I have in store for the next couple of months are talking about maybe some politics, real estate, because a lot of development in real estate, and also how my professionals are going to stay in tune with the community and collaborate, and then we can celebrate their successes.
Absolutely. I love the platform that you have with your particular business, being a publisher, publishing a magazine that really is focused on the success of small business and community. It just fits in so well with what we believe in here at this network, Penny. And that's why I think you've blended in so well with us, is because you certainly, as I mentioned before, in terms of professionalism and being a connector, I really give you a thumbs up for that. But your sense of community and business and really wanting people to succeed, I think, is something that makes you stand out in the business community.
Well, thank you. Yes, people are my passion, no matter what I do. And this is a great forum for me to bring forward people that want to participate in the community and succeed here in Las Vegas and Henderson. We do have a few more publications coming up. So my network is growing, not only with business networking and the podcast, but also through the different publications that we have created in our Vegas Valley. And like I said, this is a great forum. Guy, me and you believe in community. We believe in nonprofit and, collaborating with local businesses.
Yes, Penny, and professionalism is a topic that really goes beyond a specific career. I mean, in terms of being a professional, any job that you do requires, in my opinion, a focus on professionalism, right? I mean, getting the job done, of course, is ultimately what you're trying to do, but the way that you go about it, going about things in a professional way, matters a lot as well. And I've really enjoyed watching the people that you've been interviewing and all of their different perspectives on what makes a professional.
True. Everybody can be a professional. You can mix business with pleasure to a certain extent, but you also have to remember that some things in business should not go into your personal, and that's what makes it, you be professional. So if you do change careers, people can still say how dynamic you are, even though you changed your career. People still think of you as a professional, and maybe you're just changing your career. So a lot of us changing our hats, in this different job market. And yes, we need to always remember that you never know who you're going to meet again. Circle back around. It could be somebody that you were not professional to. So always keep a level head. If you have to step out, take a walk, and regain your level, right? Your professional level. And if somebody makes you mad, then hold your breath and walk away.
That's right. Yeah, discretion. Discretion, I think, is a huge aspect of professionalism. It's really just a restraint. Sometimes the best thing to do in a situation that might not be going the way that you would like it to go is for that moment to just practice restraint. It can really keep you in a safer place. Right, Penny?
Well, absolutely. And you know what? Sometimes you do need to walk away from business. If it's not a good fit, it's not a good fit. And just walk away. There is plenty of business out there here in Las Vegas.
Well, you just gave me my cue, because I'm going to walk away and let you host your podcast right now.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
With the Professionals Podcast.
Thanks, Guy. Hi, everybody. My name is Penny Tyndall, and I am the host of The Professionals. We air our show every Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. That's because I'm always a little late. So at 10:15, I am perfect. And we do that every Wednesday on the first and third Wednesday of the month. I am introducing my guest. She is backstage. Vered Lopez. Are you back there for me?
Thank you,
Perfect.
Penny. I'm here.
Hello. So this is now, I have met Vered a few months ago. I was actually doing a chamber mixer at Penspiration, which is one of my fantastic sponsors for Desert Foothills Living. And while I was there, I gravitated to Vered. I think she may have had her daughter with her, but tell the folks, what business were you there at the chamber mixer that Wednesday?
So coming to the chamber, I wear two hats. I came as a business owner, local business owner here in Las Vegas from Boards in Bordeaux, where my daughter and I own this business. It's a luxury charcuterie business, a catering service. And I also wear a hat of the USA Catchball Association. I know to change the hat. I am the president of the USA Catchball Association. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization servicing all of the catchball teams across the US. Catchball is a modified volleyball, sport. It's a modified volleyball sport for women 25 and older. We are the fastest growing sport for women across, well, not just the nation, but globally. We are now in over 50 countries, over 25 states here in the US with over 50 teams of amazing women just playing and having fun of catchball.
Okay, so that is exactly right. I meet a lot of local businesses. I can't even say the word charcuterie board. What is that? How do you say
Charcuterie.
it?
Yes.
Charcuterie board. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
That is like, for me, is like the tongue twister. I love them. I just say, can I have that?
This is who we are. You see, Boards in Bordeaux.
Okay, fantastic. You're on social media. That's fabulous. But I was very excited when I met you because you have a dynamic personality. But I loved the idea of a women's sport that you, like you said, doesn't take an athletic person. So for me, I used to play soccer. I did the gym. I've gained some weight for sure since menopause. And I was looking for some type of women fellowship, but I also wanted to have fun and be active. So I definitely talked about it for a couple months, and I finally went to my first catch ball. I brought a friend, Lynn, and she loved it, but she said she felt that her knees, but I was in love. So is this normal? Do people, when they come to your practice, they just fall in love like I did?
Fall in love. So it happened to me. I'm going on my 7th year. Have a little bit of, and I've always been athletic. I've always played sports. I'm a runner. I'm a swimmer. But as we get older, yes, so we go to the gym. Yes, we take a class at the gym, but we are alone. We're doing it alone. Even if you come with a friend, you're still doing it alone. This is a team sport. Your presence on the court involves 5 other players who are there with you. So your contribution is totally different, not just for yourself, but for your team. And I was looking to, play a sport that is not extremely rough, but can be recreational and can be competitive, and where I can network and I can meet some other women and make some friends, and that's what our USA Catchball Association is all about. We play sport, we have fun, and we make friends, and our community across the nation is just phenomenal. And when we get together in whether it's friendly games, going from your local team in your area, from those practices to friendly games to the national competition, and everybody comes together, it is a force that you've never seen before. I mean, it's a place where women come together socially, competitively, recreationally, and just have fun. And it's incredible. And the friendships that I've made in the past 7 years are just phenomenal. It's women who will be in a part of my life forever.
Yes, I definitely, I haven't really done any sport in a long time, and I didn't know anything about the sport. So I just went there cold and thought, I'm just going to watch. And then you brought me on, and we started playing, and I was like, ooh, I can catch a ball. And I had a lot of fun. And for what I do is, of course, as a networker, I always talk about meeting like-minded business owners and collaborating and supporting. And that's kind of what this team is. It's women that are supporting each other and having a better balance in life. Because for me, I'm a workaholic. So for me, I look forward to Monday and Wednesday going to catch ball. It's from 6 to 8. And I just know I'm going to go. I'm going to make it no matter how I feel. And once I get there, I just feel the energy, right?
Exactly. And that's, where it comes that, you become a part of a team and you say, well, I'm going to get off the couch, or I'm going to make it home, in time to change and get to practice, because my teammates, my women friends, they're waiting for me. And they're counting on me, and I want to be part of it. And it becomes like the best part where you can just detach from everything that you do on your day to day. You know, we are all busy. We're all running around. We're, you know, whether we're moms and, you know, grandmas or sisters, whatever it is, we detach and then we come to catch ball. And it's such an enjoyable sport, you know, to begin with, but your friendships, your community, you're just feeling connected. You're feeling like you know, you do belong, and you want to come back again and again, and you say, my teammates, they need me, they're my family.
I love that. So I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't know anything about catchball, but I did go Google it. And I have sent some people on there and I said, just Google it and see the dynamic history. Can you just give us a brief history of how catchball, where it came from? Because we do know that it's growing fast, but can you give us a little bit of history
Sure.
on catchball?
Yeah. So originally back in the 60s, I believe, there was a game called Nukem. And then Nukem kind of died down. And then about 20 years ago, in Israel, they took this game, modified a little bit of the rules, and brought it out and said, you know what? Lots of moms are, you know, they drop off their kids and then what? So, you know, they kind of brought it out and, you know, to the schools and said, you know what? Why don't we make a place where moms drop off the kids, give them a little, you know, a court to play, a volleyball court to play, and let's get these women more active and more connected. And sure enough, didn't take long, maybe a few months, it just boomed all across Israel. And all of a sudden, you had schools in every city provide a place for these women to come, drop off the kids during the day, and play the sport. And then it became more and more noticed, competitive and recreational. And then all of a sudden, the first competition 20 years ago took place, and other countries saw it. So it, you know, like innovated and grew and evolved. And sure enough, in 2016, the USA, the USA Catchball Association was formed, and, you know, to bring catchball to the US. And here we are 9 years later, almost 9 years, right? Just evolved immensely to all states, and that's where it boomed. And now it's, like I said, Africa, Romania, Greece, just some of the countries that I could think of, you know, that have evolved with catchball.
Okay, great. And you are the president, if I remember right, of the USA Catchball Association. You briefly mentioned on your introduction how you got involved, but why don't you tell your personal story? Like, where were you physically and mentally when you decided to jump and catch the catchball fever, as they say?
Yes. So back in 2017, catchball came to Las Vegas, and one of, you know, some of my local friends, you know, mentioned, you know, there's a catchball. You know, what is catchball? I have no idea. Said, come check it out, come check it out. And back then, you know, all my daughters, I have three beautiful daughters, were living at home. And, you know, I wanted something more. You know, what is it more? And, you know, the way it was presented to me was like, okay, just come check it out. Well, I did. And then, you know, I came the first time to, you know, to try a practice. It was lovely. It was great. But I said, you know what? I think I need to come back, you know, just again, because, you know, more ladies. And I did. And I came back again and I said, wow, you know, this is so up my alley. A bunch of women, let's continue to come. And I did. And, you know, and it got me out of the house. It got me out and more active, because, okay, here's the gym. I got to get up at 5 in the morning if I want to get in that workout. But this is in the evening, totally after, I've settled everybody down. And now what about me? Let's do it. And I did. And I met some amazing people. And sure enough, here I am 7 years later, still going super strong. And not only do I go super strong, about 3 years ago, I was approached to come on the board because I was the captain and the manager of our local Las Vegas team. And so at a national team, I was approached by, the former president of the USA Catchball and said, please, your energy, your devotion, come on the board. And I did. And now a year later, I am officially now a year into my being the president of the association. And I'm just loving it and continuing strong. And yeah, so, it's finding that place in my life that I wanted to expand my network, relationships, friendships, and doing it while I'm having fun and playing a sport.
Yes, absolutely. And, and a lot of times being a professional, we always talk about business, but self-care is so important. And especially for women, women, we're always multitasking. If we have families, we're doing the families. If we have pets, we're usually the one, responsible for the pets and taking them there. So, yes, you being from 6 to 8, I actually changed my networking group so I could participate on the Monday, Wednesday, because I felt that it was so important for me to balance life, work
Absolutely.
and fun, right? Fun.
Absolutely. And that's what happened to me. I shifted things to make sure I'm there at practice because it just, it's such a good feeling. You feel good, like you said, with the mental health, self-care. And and my family knows Monday and Wednesday, I'm at Catchball and I'm not to be interrupted.
Yes, we have to start to prioritize ourselves, of course. We always know our family is number one, but we do need to care for ourselves. Now, you have a very dynamic team, very like all different ages, all different cultures. So some of the team members are very competitive, and I say most of your team are pretty competitive, but super friendly. I know that they took my friend Erica by the hand, and now she's going to kick butt, and I'm super excited.
Yes.
But and we just got a new sponsor. You got a new sponsor that helped you with your T-shirts for an upcoming event that's coming up, right?
Yes, we did. She's one of our players. Actually, I recruited her. She's fantastic. She is a psychologist, and she is so concentrated with mental health. And so when I approached her, she's, it was at the gym actually, and I said to her, "Come out," and she goes, "You know what? I'm gonna take you up on that," and she did, and she came to practice, fell in love. Not only fell in love, like her passion, and you feel it off the court, on the court, and this is what brought her to say, "You know what? I'm gonna do this for my team." And she did. She sponsored our shirts, and going back and talking about, like you said, the different dynamic. Yes, we all have a little competitiveness in ourselves, right? This is what makes us professional. This is what makes us succeed. But everybody takes it in and welcomes everyone that comes and helps them on the court. And like you said, Erica came, had no idea what catchball is. The ladies literally we all took her in, like it's like a big hug, and let's show you how we play. And when I asked her after first practice, she goes, I'm in love. I'm coming back. And, and it's not just the sport, it's the love, the passion that we all women share, that we take everybody in and bring you into our family. And that is across the nation, across the globe, actually. My board of directors, we sit in Seattle, we sit in Atlanta, and in Austin, Texas. And our friendship, our dynamic within ourselves, the six of us, generates out to the US, where everybody in their team say, we feel you. We feel you. And this is what makes everybody want to come back and grow their sport. And wait till you see it nationally, when our national championship tournament is going to be here in Vegas, February 28th, right? To March 7th.
Right. Save the date, February 28th. I am planning to compete. So if you want to see me, it's going to be a lot of fun. And our team name, what is your team name?
Oh my God, we are the Dynamite, We are Las Vegas Dynamite. We are the dynamic of dynamite that is unstoppable. It's just incredible. We are the Dynamite. We are, Las Vegas local team. Come out and check us out. Come play and come. You're going to love catchball. You don't have to be athletic. You don't have to love sport, but you will love catchball.
Absolutely. So I know Nicole was our sponsor. What is the name of her company again?
Center to Rise.
Oh, Center to Rise. I have heard them. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
So thank you. Kudos out there to Nicole. She is a very dynamic person. And again, we're networking with women. So right now that's a beautiful fit. I know you're currently still looking for other sponsors for your big events. So what's the best way for folks to get a hold of you if they want to do a sponsorship for a women's dynamic team that is good for all ages 25 and up, right?
Okay, right. So we are the USA Catchball. We are on social media. We are on Instagram, Facebook. Our website is usacatchball.com. All of our information, my information is on there. You can call me personally. I'll give you my information, my phone number. But yeah, we usacatchball.com. We are USA Catchball on Instagram and Facebook. We are everywhere, and we are looking for sponsors for our national event. We're looking for sponsors who want to go bigger and, sponsor us throughout all events throughout the year. We are a 501c3, so we are a nonprofit, and we are here to promote the wonderful job and the wonderful things that women do across everywhere.
Yes.
But yeah, find us on social media, right? Find us on our website, usacatchball.com.
So yes, it's about women empowerment. And for all those ladies that say they haven't gone out, I've brought people from all ages. What is the span? What is the oldest age? I'm 57. So I don't know, maybe I'm the oldest person, but I feel like you might have had some people older.
You're not. Actually, on our team, you haven't met her yet because she's been out of town. But on our team, our oldest player is 62 years old, 62 or 63, maybe even by now. And our oldest player in catchball, you will not believe, but she's 68 years old. And in Mexico, we actually have a team that are 60 to 70 and 70 to 80. So yeah, we do have, but in the US, our oldest player is 68 years old, and she's not planning to stop. She is insanely amazing. You see her on the court, she runs around, she catches the ball, and every time she catches the ball, actually, and you'll see her, she's like, yay, she's such a happy person. I look forward to seeing her in every single one of our national tournaments. She's phenomenal.
I love that. I love that. So the main thing is that if people want to come and try out catchball, they can check your social media. But are you still going to be playing at Desert Breeze
Yes.
community centers on Monday and Wednesdays from 6 to 8?
Yes. So the Las Vegas local team plays at Desert Breeze most of the time. We also have another facility that we use. It's called It's All Volleyball. And the time difference is a little bit different, shifted in It's All Volleyball because, you know, they just have so many teams of playing volleyball there. But yes, we are 90% at Desert Breeze, 6 to 8, Monday and Wednesday. Come check us out. Come try catchball, but not just in Las Vegas. Anywhere there is a anywhere there's a catchball team, just look them up. They're on our website. And if you can't find who to contact us and we will direct you to who you need to contact. And they will welcome you with big open arms. So, you know, we're opening a team in Orange County.
Awesome.
We were just there doing an open house. And yeah, the Orange County ladies are super excited. And yeah, so just, you know, contact us if you're not able to find who is your local catchball team. But Vegas Dynamite, come join us.
Dynamite! What is it? It's tick, tick, boom,
Tick,
right?
tick, boom.
So the great thing is, like you said, it's 25 states. If people are interested in maybe starting their own, they can possibly do that just connecting with the USA location. So that's fantastic. So I just want to thank you for coming out. Like I said, I wanted to play a sport. I tried pickleball, but nobody else wanted to play with me. There were a lot of very competitive people. A team sport is an easy way to get back in the groove. People are cheering you on. You know, you miss a ball, they're like, you almost got it, Penny. So I feel very confident. I'm not, you know, an amazing player, but I am definitely having so much fun, and I am going to continue to spread the word. I want us to have multiple teams. I want us not to have a problem getting locations. We definitely would like to get sponsors to support you. Being a woman only team of all different ages, I mean, there's a lot of business opportunities and sponsorship opportunities. So definitely connect to Vered. She is dynamic. She is very passionate. She is fun, and she loves the sport, and so do I. So I'm going to just give you 1 minute to maybe give them another shout out of how they can connect to you. And I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to be on the podcast. Again, my name is Penny Tyndall, and my podcast is every Monday and Wednesday. But let's just do another shout out to Catchball. Go ahead and give them your information for one more time.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you for being on our team. You are so fun to play with. So reach out to USA Catchball. We are on social media. Our website is usacatchball.com. But come play catchball. It is amazing. We are looking for local sponsors, and we are looking for national sponsors to, you know, sponsor the fastest growing sport for women. And our local team, to all our ladies on our local team here in Vegas, go Dynamite, tick, tick, boom.
Boom. Yes, thank you, everybody, and have a great day, safe holiday. And again, try it. You will love it. Thank you. Penny Tyndall, the professional host. I'll see you on Wednesday at 10:15 a.m. Enjoy and have a fabulous day. Thanks again. Hi, Guy.
Excellent podcast. I had never heard of Catchball before, and I didn't have time to Google it, but I'm excited. That was really interesting. I love it when I learn something that I didn't know.
And that's exactly what I said. It's basically, it's based on the volleyball, the court, and you're catching the ball. You're able to do a lot more. You don't have to do the spiking and all this stuff. There are women that were shorter than me. There were women that were 6'4", but we still got to compete. And all the people that I met were just so friendly. Like, it was just empowering to be able to go there. And even when you miss the ball, nobody was like, giving you the side eye. Everybody was just celebrating you being on the team and on the court. So any women that want to go out and try it, I definitely say try it. I believe you will love it. Sorry, guys, no men.
Yeah, well, that's all right, but I got it. Like what you were talking about, the team sport aspect of it, Penny, and being, again, it's kind of like our network.
Yes.
Right? There are lots of people out there who have wonderful podcasts individually, and I support them for what they do. But the concept that I had when I developed this network was exactly what you just talked about, and that is coming together as a team and building ourselves as teammates through these podcasts. So I could relate to that when you were talking about it.
Perfect. Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. It's a lot more fun to work hard with somebody that's supporting you, right? And be your advocate, right?
Yeah, absolutely, Penny. Well, nothing but continued success with the professionals, and see you at the next marathon. I know I'll see you sooner, but I will probably see you online on a show again at the next marathon.
Thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.
You too, Penny. All right, so we are in the thick of this marathon now, and we are. I'm really enjoying the different shows. It's each time that we do one of these, usually we've added a new show. And of course, we have existing shows that have been around for quite a while, and we have one of our newer shows that's going to be a part of this marathon. However, I see a guest in the background, but for whatever reason, I'm not seeing Sid's face. John, we have Thinking into Results, which is one of our, there he is. All right. Let me bring Sid on here first. There you are, Sid. I wasn't seeing your face.
I know. I didn't realize at the bottom that I didn't hit the start video.
Well, it is so wonderful to have you as part of this marathon. You have one of the newer shows on the network called Thinking into Results, which is a educational program that I am a huge supporter of. And how are things going with your new podcast?
I'm loving it. Each week I get a little bit better.
Yes, there is a certain amount of development that comes, right, with being a good interviewer and a good podcaster.
In fact, one of the benefits of someone doing podcasts, particularly if they're, when they're new, I've been doing some 5-minute videos of the I am message. And I've done 14 of them, one a day for the last 2 weeks, 5 minutes. And each time I get more comfortable. Once I've done 3 or 4, I look forward every day to being able to deliver a message in a video. And so now I'm just as comfortable as can be talking to you on a podcast and doing them. And then John and I, we do some prep work, and we know what kind of questions and what kind of information we're going to be sharing back and forth.
Right. Yeah. The preparation matters a lot, right, Sid? It's being prepared and then practicing and learning from your experience, especially when you've got great content. One of the things that I really was enthused me a lot about bringing this podcast to the network that you have, Sid, is the fact that your content is just so solid. Bob Proctor and his principles, I practiced the principles. You've shared them with me. And knowing that you are going to be teaching audiences out there those principles, it just is, it made me excited about bringing you on, and it's been great to watch it play out, to see the dynamic with you and John, and just seeing you guys doing really solid podcasts that people are learning a lot from.
Thank you, Guy.
Yeah, we offer a lot of education over here on this network, and I'm going to remove myself so that you can think into results with John here. Please welcome Sid Maestri, Thinking into Results, the podcast. See you soon.
Thank you, Guy. Greetings, everyone. I'm Sid Maestri, and I am a certified consultant with the Procter Gallagher Company, and our premier program, training program, or not training so much as coaching, is Thinking into Results. And what does that mean? Well, change your thinking, change your results. And to change your thinking, you've got to discover your goals, the new goals that you want, and know that everything is vibration. And where you're at, you're vibrating at where you're at right now in your thinking, and changing your thinking will raise your, the positive thoughts will raise your vibration. Negative thoughts will lower your vibration. And the things that you want are vibrating higher than you are. Otherwise, you would already have them. So vibration and then repetition. Like a quick example of repetition, the Bob Proctor got his start in teaching personal growth from the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. If you don't have it, it'd be good to go to Amazon and get one. It's first published in 1937, and I'm not bragging, but over 100 million copies have sold worldwide. So that's close to 90 years. And I would venture to guess that 99% of the successful people in the world have read Think and Grow Rich. And the book came about, this goes back to about 1908. And Napoleon Hill was a young cub reporter and was assigned to interview Andrew Carnegie, who at that time was the richest man in the world, just to what's his story. And Andrew Carnegie had a, let's say, a thought or theory, probably a thought, that all the successful people were dying and no one knew how they did it. And he challenged Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill. He wanted him to spend 20 years, and Andrew Carnegie would give him 500 names and introductions to 500 very successful people on how they did what they did. And from all the different, I want to say principles, he put it together in a book with 12 principles. Well, before we get to the 12 principles, Andrew Carnegie asked him if he was willing to commit 20 years, talk to 500 people, and support himself. Andrew Carnegie wasn't going to pay him to do this. And Napoleon was thinking about it. He said, well, write this down. Andrew Carnegie, I'm not only going to match your achievements in life, I'm going to challenge you at the post and pass you at the grandstand. I got a CD in Napoleon Hill's voice saying, I threw my pencil down and said, I don't believe that. And Andrew Carnegie said, I know you don't believe it, but would you read this every day, twice a day in front of the mirror? So Napoleon Hill agreed to do that. Well, after 2 weeks, he saw a little glimmer. After 3 weeks, he saw the light. After 4 weeks, he knew he could do it. And I'm going to say the lesson here is, and Napoleon Hill's commitment to do it for 30 days, twice a day. And as he got more confidence it was happening, with enthusiasm was coming up within him, and that was raising his vibration. His emotions were from doubting it from he started to when he knew he could do it, put him in a space to take on the task. So today I have my favorite guest, my my favorite student. And I'd like to introduce John Gage, who's a trained voice actor and my good friend. And he should come on the screen here any moment. John, how are you?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me, Sid. So I'm looking forward to talking about repetition.
You have anything special planned this weekend after we do our podcast here?
After we do the podcast, I'm actually kind of, as you can see, my background's changing, so I'm kind of changing things around a little bit so things look a little different. And then I think tomorrow, my lovely wife and I are going to kind of just be lazy and relax and enjoy each other's company. So
very good.
That's right. You got to take time to relax too. You got to have a little bit of fun and enjoy the ones you love. And if you don't do that, all this repetition, you got to include everybody. Your goals have to have a meaning and a why. And I keep my two big goals taped to my computer screen, which is right in front of me, and my why right in the center, which is a picture of me and my wife.
Would you like to share your goal?
I absolutely, I can. I do this, and I keep them here because during the day, you get a little bit of, I read them in the morning and in the evening, but at times you get a little disappointed or discouraged. I have them here so I can look at them and go, okay, that's why I'm focused. And the one I have on the left, I am so happy and thankful now that I am a successful voice actor. I work regularly, make over $1 million per year. My talents are used in commercials, children's cartoons, movies, and audiobooks regularly. And then picture of me and my wife. I like the smiles, it's nice. I'm happy and thankful that I now weigh 275, have a 40-inch waist, 72-inch chest, 10% body fat. I walk 1 mile per day, do a full body workout 3 days per week. I eat all natural, healthy foods, keeping my mind and body at a healthy peak performance.
You see that every day, don't you?
Every single day. Every single day, I see it. It's right there. I work from home, so my work computer is to my right, is over here, and my desk, my regular computer is right here. So I do that for encouragement. But go ahead.
Well, I was going to ask you if there's what your thoughts on the changes that you're making, the things you've never done before.
I'm thankful for it. I'm starting to get healthy again. I'm starting to find ways to accomplish that. And what that means is, as you do this, you're repeating this over and over again. And like you said with
Napoleon.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill. Sorry, my brain just stopped. It's a holiday weekend, okay? So that's my excuse. I'm just stick with it. But what Napoleon said, that after 30 days he starts believing it. You really start believing it because you're repeating it and you're repeating it and you're repeating it. And you're taking your conscious thought, which you can control, and telling your subconscious, which just only has one reality, what you believe. That, no, this is the reality that I'm going to live. It's like, well, okay, if you're going to be 270, and my goals are specific for a reason, because that's what Napoleon Hill said. He said the goals have to be very specific. So I'm very specific, and most people are going to go, well, 275. I'm 6'8", for the record. Okay. So 275 is a good weight for me. And so I believe it. I'm seeing results like you wouldn't believe. I'm doing things that I never thought I would do. You know, I said, since we've talked last, I've started doing an 18-hour fasting, and then I only eat in a 6-hour block now, on top of the calorie restrictions that we've talked about. So and it's really helping a lot. I can feel the difference. You know, and then I look at the foods that I'm eating. You know, I found a source for protein that's all natural, that's, well, you know, grass fed, and they're raised properly like they're supposed to be. And the meat the difference is night and day.
Well, John,
go ahead.
Let's say you reminded me of something we were talking about earlier, that is in essence on thinking in the results, change your thinking, change your results. And that was that quote, in order to get something you've never had before, you have to do something you've never done before. Yeah, and you're doing a whole lot of things you've never done before.
A whole lot of things, you know, and is it scary? Yeah. Is it as scary as it was when I started? No, it's not, because I'm learning that the results, knowing what the results you're going to receive from doing this, takes some of that fear away, and you're more likely to push through that fear barrier, which is one of the lessons. You know, that barrier that people run into and go, oh, I just can't do this anymore. It's too much. But if it had just moved 3 more feet, they would have succeeded. I love that story. That story is great.
Please share that story, because I love it too.
Oh yeah, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but he'd gone to his whole family because he was going to California for the gold rush, and he found a spot that had a good vein in it. His family, you know, gave him a lot of money, startup money, and the mine was going really well. He was making money, getting his relatives paid back, and all of a sudden it stopped. And he wasn't getting anything, and he started losing money, and debt was rolling in. He couldn't pay his debts. He couldn't pay the loans that he had. So out of frustration and from what I could understand is a smidge of humiliation, he gave up and sold it to a gentleman who went, well, I'm going to have a geologist come in. The geologist come in and says, yeah, there's a huge vein just 3 feet over. And if he would have just moved 3 feet, he would have had all the success he needed and more. You know, he did learn from that and became like one of the United States best insurance salesmen for the rest of his life. But it's an interesting story because we do stop. We're our own worst enemies. We sabotage ourselves more than anybody else could. My lovely wife, she will back me in anything. But if I stop it, I'm the one who's responsible for that, and I'm the one that chose to do it that way. And I really believe that's the basis of the whole thing. You're thinking, you become what you think about. I mean, it's in all of the history books, including the Bible. Napoleon talked about, not Napoleon Hill, but Napoleon. That's all he ever thought about was conquering the world for a woman. You know, it was literally, that's all he thought about. And in Think and Grow Rich, that was the summary of the whole book, was all these people that were successful, whether they were good or bad or otherwise, all had one thing in common. One theme is they became They obsessed with what they became. You know, we talk about Henry Ford all day long too. This is an illiterate man. We talked about him. I think we talked about him last time. He was illiterate, but he had the right friends, and he was determined, and he was obsessed with creating a V8, creating an 8-cylinder engine. If it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have those fast hot rods or my pretty little truck sitting outside here.
John, I have I want to say another thought of what encountering. Well, they thought about it all day long. Now, my first linear thinking is they're always thinking about it, but there's all these other things going on in what they're doing. And I realized that just doing your goal, knowing what your goal is and knowing where you're going, what you want, your subconscious, or your God consciousness is always alert. You're doing your thing, and ideas will come to you because it's
amazing.
It's in your subconscious is thinking.
Yeah.
And all kinds of magic happens, and it happens to me. I have different ideas, new projects. I write it down, and I may look at it not even every day, but ideas will come to me. In fact, I use it if I can be so bold, in my meditations. I have a let's say a meditative prayer, which I'm asking the big guy upstairs, God presence, the I am, to give me clarity, understanding of the project.
Right.
And I get answers. I get new thoughts. Sometimes I'm getting a thought of, I've been thinking about it. This is great for procrastination. You do this asking for clarity and understanding. The thought might be asking about something. The thought might be, well, do it. And when you get what I call a God thought, a stronger voice in your head versus the everyday little voice, our egos, and magic happens. Magic happens. I have another have another podcast called the I Am Message, and what I call spiritual warrior mentoring, bringing what you want to do in the physical world, what your mind is doing and creating things, but understanding that connection, that nothing's happening without spirit within you. And to recognize that, I call it the I am awareness, the God consciousness, the Christ consciousness, to know that all the new thoughts, all the creativity that's coming to you is coming from source.
Well, and you know, it's like when you do this regularly, like for instance, my weight loss, it's like I want to start doing healthy things. I don't even have to say anything, and all of a sudden a video will pop up on Facebook or someplace that I just happen to be casually browsing because maybe I'm bored at work and I've got all my work done. I'm waiting for the next report to come through so I can finish my job, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I've got a notepad. I'm writing it down because it's something I hadn't thought of, but all of a sudden it pops up and I'm like, oh, I hadn't thought to do that, you know? And it's like, that makes sense. Like I learned the other day that disease actually can't live in an oxygen-rich environment. So one of the things you can do in the morning is sit outside or sit with the window open, right next to a window that's open, get the morning rays shining on your face. You're getting some vitamin D. Your feet are touching the ground or touching a grounding mat, and do 30 exaggerated breaths and hold, and then you hold the last exhale as long as you can. Then you'll inhale and hold that one, and then you'll do 30 more. You'll do 3 sets of that. And I'm talking exaggerated. You're like, oh, exaggerated. because what it does is it just fills your body with oxygen. It's hard to feel bad after that. And then I go take a cold shower. I know that's weird, but man, I feel great. Yeah, the initial shower or the initial spray is like, oh, okay, yeah, that's right. It's not as bad as I thought, but because our minds, but that triggers a whole bunch of stuff that happens in your system that we didn't know about. And also, somebody was saying that we live to be 120 years old. I'm like, okay. I've been pretty sick, but challenge accepted. You know, let's go for 120. Sounds fun. Besides that, another 60 years, how much good can I do in another 60 years? You know what I mean?
Yes, John, when you said the 120, my I Am Message website is spiritualwarriormentor.com. And there's a number of things on it. And one of them is, what's your number? Which is an idea that came to me after I was studying the I Am Message. And that idea came to me is living to 100 and be making a difference, make a difference every day. And I did my calculations. There's a calculation on the site. And I did it about 5 years ago. And after 5 years, and I was about 75-ish. And now when I hit 80, well, I've done 5 years, the idea came to me, oh, well, move it up to 105. And my personality, the small voice, rejected it. And immediately the voice was, no, do it.
Right.
And so I knew that was the God voice, do the recalculation. So my personal number, which would have been around 6,300, but now I'm going to 105, so it adds 5 more years. So now today was 8,134. So every day on the top of the page, whatever I'm working on, I have that countdown, and I'm doing something every day.
Something positive, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the title of this lesson is the impression of increase. In other words, every person you come in contact with, you do something to make them feel blessed for having met you. Even if it's smiling at them on the street as you pass by, you know, or a hearty good morning to you. How are you today? You know, because we don't know what's going on in other people's lives. And I think we've talked about that too when I was talking about driving in Las Vegas, driving Uber. We don't know what happens, what's going on in that person's life that just cut you off. They could just be, you know, a jerk supreme, but maybe they're trying to get to the hospital. Maybe they have so much going on that emotionally they're not even really connected with what's going on, and it was just something that happened. So if we're doing our best to make their day better just because they talk to us, great. I mean, I do random things like I will just send my boss, hey, I just wanted you to know that I really appreciate everything you do for me. I think you're awesome. Have a wonderful day. I don't expect anything in return. I don't expect a response. I don't even expect them to say thank you. I just want them to understand that I think they're great people. And it's also a good thing to do. And quite honestly, there's a benefit to it where your boss can say, hey, I have a question. I'm concerned about this. They're more likely to listen because you're listening to them. I always, you know, and I never say, well, I don't understand that, or I just say, okay, when I'm given an instruction I don't understand. So,
John.
Yes, sir.
Do you see my finger?
I do.
I want to add I don't know when we're going to. We look like we're getting close to the end here, and you triggered a thought in me which you're going to love, and it was talking about indigenous people, American Indian, that the key question when they go to the happy hunting ground, there's just one question: were people happy that you passed their way in life? And that was years ago. But as soon as, and the impression of increase is one of Bob's teaching, which is our next podcast on Wednesday in our Thinking in Results series. And I totally forgot that till you mentioned it to me. It doesn't get any plainer than that.
Yeah.
Did you make a difference? There are people glad they met you, that you passed their way, and that's what you live it. You live it without consciously trying to do it.
I do that every day. I make sure that when I talk to somebody, that even if I'm calling in a complaint, I'm as polite as I can be, and I make a point of explaining what's going on, so that this person, number one, will give me all the help I need, but number two, they really had nothing to do with it. They're just the person on the other end of the phone, and it's just the right thing to do.
Well, John, we're at 2:00 here. Oh, not 2:00. We're 2.
We're 2 hours. When we started, we were at 1 hour and 35 minutes.
Aha. So maybe we get. I'm going to go back to the positive, negative thoughts. The glass is half full or it's half empty, and when it's half empty, that's the negative thoughts is below your comfort zone. And one of your favorite sayings is, if you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. And you're right, whichever way it is. And we want to be positive. We talk about big goals, and you don't have to know how to reach a goal. You just have to want to do it, have the passion, believe you can do it. And the first step is writing down the goal, and magical things happen. I use the expression, whatever you say following I am is going to come looking for you.
And it does.
And so you want the positive statements to get your vibration. Everything you want is at a higher vibration than you are. Everything, frequency, everything in the universe is vibrating. And Bob Proctor likes to say we're living in an ocean of motion.
Well, and that's true.
And as I said,
now,
yeah,
they can measure your positive thoughts now. Remember, I think we talked about this. It was bioreflection, I believe, is what it's called. And when a person is happy, they register a different frequency and a much higher frequency than when they're upset. And all of these people that have negative things happening in their life, one of the questions I'm asking is, well, what do you think about all the time? Well, what do you mean? What do you think about all the time? Do you think about bad things happening to you, or do you think about good things happening to you? And that's it's kind of simplifying it a little bit, but sometimes that's what people need. And if you're thinking about bad things happening to you all the time, guess what's going to happen? But if you're thinking about good things, that's where the money is.
You're right on with that. You gave me another couple of thoughts, but I might save that for Wednesday.
Okay.
But I really, really enjoy our conversations.
I do too.
And I always see something different.
Well,
and I'm looking forward to seeing you next June 11th, when we'll have an official public wedding with family and friends.
Correct. Yes.
On the beach.
Yes.
Jacksonville, Florida.
The beautiful Floridian white sand beaches. Yes, sir. And it's sea turtle season too, so you may get lucky and see a sea turtle nesting.
Well, I don't want to get that personal.
Well, okay, yeah. Nesting
So
is different than what you're thinking.
Okay. I want to thank everyone that's viewing our video. Hope that you have a good weekend. They call it Labor Day, but no, but Labor Day means that's a day we don't have to work and we get to celebrate. I must say celebrate the gift, God's gift to us, that we've got some work to do. And you can reach me at thinkingandresults.com. I'm still on. Oh, are we still recording? Are we live?
No, that you're still live.
Oh, great. Well,
It's a marathon, Sid, so it doesn't end, but well, it does end. It's just not ending right now. I love the interaction again between you and John. John had some very thought-provoking aspects that he brought to this interview, and he obviously is doing the work. I can just tell because I'm doing it. So it's just great to see you mentoring someone who's getting a lot out of this program. And thank you again for thinking into results. Yes, the fact that we are sitting here right now doing this podcast, Sid, is definitely it's a result of focused thought. There was a great point that he brought in there when he was talking about that story from Think and Grow Rich, which is just an excellent example of missing the gold mine by giving up. Right? Really, the difference between success and failure so many times. I absolutely agree. It's just one person refuses to give up and the other person does, and the other person stumbles into success. Well, no, they didn't stumble into success. They didn't give up. Love that feedback.
Guy, when you say that, one of the things that I've believe or I've encountered, that some of the most successful people, when you read their bio, the turning point in their success was at their darkest moment, that moment that the absolute lowest point, and they're ready to give up. But they break through, go on to have great success, and they can look back and say, the greatest thing that happened to me was blank, which was the worst day of his life. Yeah,
contrast. Yeah, I mean, I could talk a long time about this with you, Sid. Well, either fortunately or unfortunately, we got to head into the next podcast. But I just love your content. Keep up the great work, Sid. And yes, Thinking into Results. When again can people tune into it?
This Wednesday at 1:00. Thinking in Results podcast for prconnectionsradio.com.
All right.
And you're doing a great job. And the Monday morning meetings are on the calendar. I know that I was questionable when I told you last week, I guess it was last week, and you didn't show up, but 7:30 with your team. And that was fantastic. Had a good interchange, some ideas. And I'm looking forward to next Monday morning. I only have one request. Don't be late.
Yes, I will. Seeing as I'm the one that opens the meeting, I should be there on time, Sid. Well, thank you again so much for being a part of this marathon. Keep up the great work, Sid.
Good. And you've got a great team. Dana, Ronnie, or Etta, the people I had the most contact with. Beautiful team. Thank you, Guy.
All right. Thank you, Sid. All right. Well, we've got another podcast that we're going to be sharing with all of you. This is actually a recording of a podcast, a relatively new one on the network, which is called Inside the Music. And Inside the Music is hosted by a young woman named Tina Bryce. And the whole focus of the show is on the Las Vegas music scene. I personally have been really excited about having a music-oriented show on the network, and I met Tina Bryce recently, and she has really been helping to bring a lot of recognition to our network with the unique guests that she has. And so she's not able to be here in person today. However, we are going to air a recording. Yeah, you can get everything going back there, Monty, of Inside the Music that she recorded. And she will be back on the air sometime soon. But I'm going to step off stage and let you check out Inside the Music with Tina Bryce.
PR Connections Radio presents.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to Inside the Music. I am your host, Tina Bryce. Thank you for coming along with me on this ride as we deep dive into the Las Vegas music scene and we turn up the volume. Today, I'm very excited. I have an up-and-coming Midwest emo band based here in Nevada called Crumbcatcher. I have Jack and Corinne today, so please go ahead and welcome them to the stage.
Hi, everybody.
Hello. Guys, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, I'd say. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you, thank you. So first off, where are you from?
So we formed in Vegas as kind of like my solo project back in 2019. And around in 2020 we were supposed to play our first show. Obviously things happened in 2020 that made that a little difficult, so took a break for a while. We released our first record, and around that time I brought in some more people to, I guess, work with me, and kind of turn it into more of a band instead of just a solo project. So yeah, Vegas, I guess, to answer your question.
And Corinne, about when did you join the band?
So really funny. Jack and I, like, this is our apartment. We're partners and everything. So Jack was kind of wondering who's going to play for this show in 2020, the one that got canceled. And I was like, I will do anything for you because I really love you and I want you around. So I learned how to play bass, and now it's just, that's my instrument. That's what I love to do.
That is a killer love story. I gotta say, I learned for you.
Yeah, I'm very, very thankful for Corinne for doing that for me. It's very difficult to find bass players for bands. So it's like bassists and drummers. It's like they're all in like 20 different bands.
Yeah, be glad that I enjoy the instrument.
Yeah, I'm very happy.
Yeah, I heard something that was like, I forget what it was, but they were talking about how the bass player is always the one who just never got chosen, and they're just like, they get forced into the position. I'm like,
pretty much, yeah.
I promise.
So who would you say are some of your biggest influences?
I'd say, so on the record we just put out, Infinite Feedback, a lot of Frank Ocean, Steely Dan, Michael Lucius, the person that I wrote the album with, that's like their favorite band of all time. I'm also really heavily influenced by like the Beach Boys, but then also I'm really into a lot of, I guess, like late 90s, early 2000s, screamo, emo, post-hardcore bands like Thursday and like Census Fail, and Elliot is another really big one, American Football, all those types. So I think that we kind of draw influences from everything, though. Infinite Feedback is a very sonically diverse album, and it kind of just came from me wanting to write whatever I wanted to write. If I wanted to write an indie song one day and a post-hardcore song the next day, so that's what we did. So,
no, yeah, I was actually listening to the album earlier, and as I was listening to it, I'm like, I'm almost getting like shoegazy kind of vibes to it. Then I'm also getting some jazz vibes. At one point, it sounded like one of the old Beartooth albums.
Nice. Yeah.
Like, this has everything. It's super, super interesting because each song is different from one to the next, but they tell a story. You've talked about, or not talked about, but on the website it says, the first half of the album is your older self kind of realizing who you are, and then the second half is your younger self and all that like angst that you still have.
Yeah.
Where did you get that idea?
So it kind of started out as the whenever Mike and I started working on the record, we wrote the songs Soft Triangles and Bit Crusher, and those were kind of like the thesis statement for the project of like, I think it'd be cool to do something that's like kind of indie and then something that's, you know, a little heavier like post-hardcore emo, and combine the two, because I feel like personally the two genres are much closer than a lot of people think. It's just the amount of distortion that one has is significantly more than the other. So regarding the concept, I over the 4 years that I spent working on the album, there was a lot of existential dread that started setting in as I got older.
4 years.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, yeah, of course, like, you know, a lot happens in 4 years. You grow up and you change as a person. But it was like, for us personally, it was a lot. So.
Yeah. Lots of crazy stuff happened. And that was kind of my way of coping with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It was very therapeutic for me to write about it. And then I kind of, as I continued writing lyrics for the songs, I noticed a thread of, you know, that I was going from like the older perspective to younger. And so, you know, meshed them together.
So when you were writing it, were you kind of having like, almost as you were writing it, you were having the discussion and it just kind of like popped out and then you were like, okay, we're going to separate it?
Yeah, pretty much. We didn't know how to pace the album at first because we had like all these emo songs and then all these indie songs. We were like, how do we, because you can't go from one to the next, you know what I mean? It's and so we decided to kind of do the two halves thing. And then I wrote the song Death Bloom smack dab in the middle to bridge the two together.
Interesting. I like that. Corinne, do you do any of the writing as well?
Yeah, so I have a lot of input on the lyric. Jack and I have gotten into not like fights about this, but it's just like I'm not the end all be all for lyrics, but I am the final person going through all of the lyrics and saying like, hey, this sounds corny, like we can word this better.
Yeah.
That would be cool if we did this here. I don't know. There's one time I remember we were writing the lyrics for White Rabbit, and we both said like, "Hey, let's go. Y'all be over here. You'll be over here for 15 minutes." And we both came out of the rooms like bawling our eyes out together. It's like, I just wrote the best song I've ever written.
Yeah. Yeah. Corinne has a really big role in the lyrics for sure.
Yeah, you do everything else. It's not easy writing the lyrics either, so I understand that it is a group effort a lot of the time.
Yeah.
How do you guys deal with, you know, having too many hands in the kitchen with everyone? Especially, you said you have you have 3 guitarists in the band and everything else. How do you work through that?
That's something we're trying to figure out right now. I think so. It's a lot of communication and making sure that everybody is heard. It's like kind of being in like a polyamorous relationship almost. But yeah, I mean, it's working well so far, I'd say. Like I said, it just making sure that everybody has their respective input and hearing out ideas and working with each other to, whenever there's disagreements, finding a middle ground. And so that's working out well so far with the writing for the next record.
Yeah, I definitely think, you know, when you have, it's a double-edged sword, you know, there's things that each person can bring that can make the things better, but then it's also hard to concede sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. So especially for me, going from like doing everything myself to having to bring in other hands, that was like there was like this internal struggle almost, right? I had to realize like this isn't entirely about me anymore, you know? And so, but I think that's been good for me too, you know, experience ego death in a way.
Corinne, how's it been on your side watching his ego death?
Oh my gosh. There's so many times that I would come home from work and he's just kind of like hunched over a desk with headphones in. I have to scream at him, Jack, what are you doing? What are you doing? But honestly, he just like, it was really nice. And I could tell that it was cathartic for you writing a lot of this, even though the recording process might not have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it did more good than harm, and you came out with a lot more skills. And now we know a trumpet player and a cello player and a viola player, and we have, originally we didn't have all of the same people in the band, so I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to articulate it. I don't know. I like all the hands in the kitchen.
You know, you did mention, I forget. I was talking with one of my other friends. He was talking about that there's a certain point with music because he sits there and he wants to tinker with it and tinker with it and tinker with it. And if you keep doing it, you ruin it.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
Learning that moment of when to step away.
It's very important. That's something that I've found, or there's something that I realized towards the end of the recording process. Because like Corinne said, I recorded and produced, mixed, mastered everything myself. And at a certain point, I was just like, you know what? I just got to put it out. And like, it's because otherwise I'm going to be working on it forever. And I'm really happy I did, honestly, because a lot of the songs were written back. I think Death Bloom was written towards the end of 2022. And so there's other ideas that I've been sitting on this entire time that I want to work on, and instead of just the same set of 10 songs. And yeah, it's really nice to be able to like move on to other stuff. I've had this like massive like outpour of creativity. So
yeah, you said you weren't going to continue working on music for a while.
Yeah, it was a lie.
And then a week after the album comes out, you said, hey, I have this idea. Does it sound good? Do you like this? So it never goes away.
Yeah, it never does.
You were probably just like, can he take a break already?
I mean, yes and no. I'm already excited to start writing lyrics and working on, getting better at like playing bass for this, probably adding more instruments if we don't already have enough.
Yeah. Ideally, Crumbcatcher has 20 members. So.
Ideally.
No, just ideally, yeah. We need full string section, horns, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're both in your early mid-20s, right?
I technically just entered my late 20s. I just turned 27.
I just started my mid-20s. I literally turned 25 in April this year. So
yeah,
wow.
I've got the quarter life crisis hitting right now. So the lyrics will be very sad on the next one.
Yeah, I could see that. I know. I gotta say, how did you you entered into this adulthood when finally people are like, all right, go off and be on your own, and the whole world shut down.
Yeah.
How did you manage?
I wrote an album about it.
Then we wrote another one.
Yeah. I wrote another album about it. Yeah, it's tough. It feels like not to get all like deep and sad, but it feels like time kind of froze in 2020. And like I look back and I think back on it, and it's almost been 5 years, and I'm like, oh wow, it feels like 10 days have passed. I don't know. So but yeah, I mean, just getting by. We make emo music, and that's like a really good vessel for sad stuff.
Yeah.
So.
It's just a diary with guitars and stuff behind it.
Exactly.
I love that description. I like that. I'm a 2010s pop punk emo kid, so
nice.
Yeah, I like that.
So.
Yeah, I see the Simple Plan. Like, is that like a record, or is
it's actually their tour book.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so it has their entire like story from fruition or from when they first started to I think I got it 2020, maybe 2021.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
because most of the records are Wonder Years records. So
yeah, I'm a huge Wonder Years fan. That's somebody that I didn't list in my influences that I probably should have. I own every single record on vinyl in like multiple copies for I think most of them. So
there's like Fall Out Boy is my go-to 100%. I've owned every album,
nice.
The whole nine. So I get it when you have that connection with a band,
Yeah, absolutely.
there has been a bit of a resurgence in the emo scene in general, you know, the early 2000s, 2010s, that kind of music coming back. Do you think Midwest emo is going to be making their comeback soon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, of course, that means like a form of, I don't make any money from music, but like, I'm going to say it's a form of job security if it does. So of course it may be wishful thinking, but yeah, no, I absolutely think it will. You see I feel like it's bubbling under the surface right now. You have bands like, I don't know, like Arms Length and Saturdays at Your Place and whatnot. Like they're all, I feel like, getting way more popular. And there's also that huge like screamo resurgence happening right now, which is really cool.
Yeah, the young, like, there's that one, what is it? I don't know if it was just a shirt or something, but there's that Thursday, that thing from Thursday, just the kids are still screaming. And I really like that. And here in Vegas, we have Best Friends Forever Festival. All of our friends, all of the people in the music scene we know, we're all sending it to each other like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. What do you mean like American football is going to be playing in Las Vegas? Like, and it's not at a casino.
Yeah, that's the most exciting part.
Yeah. And it's 3 days long. Nothing like that ever comes here. So I feel like that proves a point with how popular and like the resurgence is coming back.
Yeah.
And a lot of these bands have stuck around for 20 years. So the fact that they've been around for that long, job security, and there's people like us still releasing music with a little bit of inspiration from them it's nice. I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like anyone can make their comeback now that Oasis has announced theirs.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's insane. I can't believe that.
If you can stop hating each other for 2 seconds, you can make something beautiful.
Yeah, exactly. It's very true.
So you obviously play shows here in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played, I think I saw something about you playing shows in LA as well?
Yeah. So that's something, I was informed that it's technically Orange County and not LA, but I don't know. Current's from LA.
Yeah, it kind of counts.
Yeah.
Close enough.
So yeah, we're playing a program Skate and Sound on October 26th. And I'm super excited about that because I've never played a show out of state. I've always been in Vegas, every band I've been in. I was supposed to tour with one of the bands I was in, but we ended up breaking up instead, which is common.
You like that?
Yeah. So this is the next shot that I have. Hopefully we don't break up before.
Both. No, I love Crumb Catcher so much. Like it feels like all of like the guitarists and our drummer, like they feel like my brothers, and it makes me feel so safe and so happy, like playing music with just like all of our friends, and we all agree on stuff for the most part. I mean, like that's just how family is. You'll disagree on stuff, but you just got to thug it out and talk it out.
So I know, Corinne, you go by she, they pronouns.
Yeah.
How do you deal with some of the stuff that happens at shows as a female presenting person?
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I haven't thought about it like that. So I do feel like representation in a way, especially after our first show. My friend Hannah came up to me and said, Corinne, you were the only like female presenting person up there, and you got the room so loud whenever you did anything. Like, because I do a lot of like, yeah, I play bass and everything, but my vocals are a lot louder sometimes. Aside from White Rabbit, I'm screaming in a lot of these songs, and I plan on screaming until my throat gives out. But I really hope not, because I want to take care of myself.
Yeah, that's why we have throat coat.
Yeah, so I really look up to a lot of other people who present the same way. Like everyone will say like Hayley Williams, but also Courtney LaPlante. LaPlante?
I say LaPlante.
And Kat Moss from Scowl, just because they're very authentic and they don't take anything. I refuse to take any type of attitude from a man, especially at our shows. And even at the last show, somebody tried giving a backhanded compliment to our friend's band, saying like, oh, your band was better. And it's like, why would you put another woman down to lift another one up? It makes no sense. The scale is not even. So I just, you just kind of take it in stride. Like I'm ignoring any bad thing anyone has to say about me just because of the way I present myself.
Yeah, dudes can be weird.
Yeah, dudes are
unfortunately.
weird. Like I just ignore it, like
Yeah.
in one ear, out the other.
Yeah. So.
And how do you, Jack? How do you react when someone is giving Corinne ish for being who they are?
I try and step in and
Honestly, a lot of the time, I don't need Jack for that.
Yeah,
I mean enough myself.
Yeah, honestly, Corinne is like way more aggressive and better at like getting dudes to.
I'm the one with road rage. Jack's the one in the seat, like, pretending to just playing on his phone in the car.
Yeah, exactly. But if dudes are being weird, I try and like get them to begin talking to me, and like I kind of step in the and
it's also a little easier that way sometimes because it's like I don't want to have to fight at shows.
Yeah,
like even verbally, I don't want to have to be like, I don't know, confrontational at shows, especially because it's supposed to be like a fun environment for everybody. No, but I don't need that kind of behavior or attitude, like bringing anybody down.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotta say, like, just from talking to you this little bit, seeing some of your pictures, you have a bit of a badass energy about you. I would be scared to see anything.
I agree. Corinne's scary, man. Like, especially when you're up on stage screaming. Like, I'm like, oh my God. Like, I watch the videos back. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, me too. I didn't know I could do that either. I'm really tiny. I'm 5'1". And some people, I feel like a lot of people don't expect that. But it's really like at the end of the day, there is a lot more praise than there is negativity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are really just excited to see somebody that looks like them playing music. Yeah. I'm excited whenever. So I don't know. We're playing more shows and everything. So I've been trying to find more bands and everything that just aren't full of guys. So soon-ish, unannounced. I don't know. We're going to be playing with this one band here in Vegas. Their name is Diazepam. Like, I love them. Yeah, they're just so sick. Like,
that's something I want to try and push for too, is more people that aren't just white dudes in emo music, because that's part of the reason why I've had Corinne step in with lyrics too, because like I don't have anything to say anymore, you know. Like,
that's why, like, I feel like I can't say like their name, Mannequin P Word. Yeah, Mannequin P Word. Scowl, Sweet Pill, Haley Williams, Linda's. Like, there's so much more than just like white dudes crying, like whiny white boys.
Yeah.
And it's like, even though like, don't get me wrong, like all those bands we talked about earlier, like Simple Plan, The Wonder Years, like I love all of that stuff. So if they can do it, I can do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely think emo music does have a bit of that sad guy at the party with his guitar feeling about it, but I also really like the fact that things are kind of being reinvented and looked at differently.
I agree.
One of my other current favorite artists, Honey Revenge.
Oh, nice. Yes, yeah. Devin is so cool.
She reminds me of my niece, and I love her.
Awesome.
And then Johnny, oh my God, nothing but respect for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry. So going back to your album, what has the reception been like?
It's been solid from what I've seen. We've had some cool bands reach out to us and say that they liked it, and I'm not gonna like name drop people, but some people that I like really respect in the scene, and just in general, like have like been like, oh wow, this is really cool, you guys are really good, and that's been awesome. It's been interesting playing the songs live, because obviously our live set follows the same dynamic that the album follows, where the first half is very soft and the second half is very heavy. And so whenever I start screaming in Death Bloom, everyone's like, wow. And I feel like it gets people's attention, which is maybe good for like a local band trying to come up, because people don't expect it, you know? But yeah, so I think it's been solid. A lot of people really like the emo stuff, which I guess I'm not surprised by.
We didn't know how people were going to take the album, so we just kind of waited it out and saw, because I don't know, like we didn't really think that one or the other side would be better or more well received than the other. But we were very surprised to see it was the heavier emo side. I think that's just because a lot of people, like, even hardcore is having its moment right now.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of bands are going into that heavier sound or like that more 90s inspired sound.
Yeah.
So
everybody's also really sad too.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a common thread around, like, especially with like the resurgence in country and the mainstream. Like I feel like country at its core is very depressing, or at least it's supposed to be. Like that's kind of like the OG emo music in my opinion. So like I feel like that is a good indicator of where the collective mentality is.
Understandable. You know, how do you, I'm trying to figure out the way to word this sentence and it's just not working. So we're going to go to the next one and I'll come back.
Okay.
We'll come back.
Sounds good.
What has been your favorite venue to play here in Vegas?
Most of them are 21 plus.
Yeah.
So a lot of them have been bars. And we're trying to find more all ages ones.
Yeah.
I really
like the Usual Place whenever
Usual
we played
Place
there.
was fun,
Yeah. I like any venue where they actually like mic up our amps and drums. That like if it isn't that, I love playing house shows. Honestly, like the energy at house
Post-COVID,
shows.
I don't think house shows are like super common anymore because it's like, what are you doing in here?
Yeah.
But honestly, like our first show was really fun because it was at the Griffin, and that's right off of Fremont Street. So people just came in and were like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
I would look over like in the middle of playing something and there's somebody's like face like coming out from the doorway, and it was really funny. We're gonna be playing at Gold Spike on
Thursday, September
on Thursday.
5th.
So I'm really excited for that. I saw videos of the venue. It's outdoors, but there's like a stage. We're going to be playing in front of like an Airstreamer.
Yeah.
Yep.
Super wild.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a cool show. Maybe I'll try and make it to that one.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see you. I'm really excited for that. We're lots of really cool bands on that one too, like Twin Cities and Paper Dad, and Final Last Words is coming here from California, which like it's like a cool full circle moment for me because I was supposed to, in one of my old bands, I was supposed to play with them like 10 years ago, almost to the day. But I ended up quitting the band because of, I was 16, 17, and 16, 17-year-old musicians could be a little difficult to work with sometimes. So I finally get to play with them 10 years later. So,
it all worked out in the end for you, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Besides, obviously the Wonder Years in American football, who would you love to tour with?
Oh, that's a great question.
Thursday.
Yeah. Honestly, like if I were to be able to like pick any band out of like a hat, maybe not out of a hat, but just in general, Thursday would probably be number one. I think that Jeff Rickley's ethos is like it's everything that I feel like a musician should be. And I really love how passionate he is about music and alternative music in general. My brother was in this experimental noise band that went viral a couple of years ago. And whenever the entire internet was dogging on them, he was one of the small handful to actually come out and defend them. And I like that kind of, I don't know, like obviously that I wasn't the one receiving hate in that situation, but seeing him do that, I think is truly a testament to who he is as a person, and how like what he does for alternative music in general. So
yeah.
I don't know, anybody else?
It's really, I think sonically, like it's really only Thursday and maybe Paramore. If Paramore chooses to play awesome, like really heavy stuff on their tour too.
I'm also a huge Fall Out Boy fan, so if that could ever happen, that would be.
I will be at that show. I will find a way.
Are you going to When We Were Young?
I am definitely trying to.
Nice.
Tickets were a little on the expensive side. So
yeah, I know.
I did get to go last year, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Thursday was there last year. So
Yes.
yeah, I got to see them in passing.
Awesome.
One of my actually recent shows that I got to go to was at the Griffin, and it was Idlefield.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing the 20th anniversary of their Remember Right Now album.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy that album is that old, but two, my dog is drinking water in the background right now. I'm sorry if you can hear him.
Sammy.
Not to. I'll get back to the topic at hand in just a second. But every time that happens, I just think about this one video of this lady that's working from home and she's on a meeting. They have like this like big. I think it's like a black lab or something like that, just aggressively drinking water in the background.
What are you talking about too?
He really likes to be a part of things. But anyways, yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, I really wanted to go to that show. I forget why I wasn't able to go. I think I had a work thing. But yeah, that's so cool. How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
I saw Spitalfield back in the day opening for Plain White Tees.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like this was. I'm also from LA, so like this is 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Back in the day, and it was so cool to get to go and see them and sounding just the same as I remember.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really, really cool. I know that there's been some like excuse me, some surprisingly like popular bands playing at the Griffin lately. Like I know that Race Trader was just there, I think like a month or two ago.
That was really
and I don't know, it's wild.
There?
Yeah, like I feel like they're a band that could easily do like I don't know, like a bigger venue.
Yeah.
So, but I understand as a hardcore band wanting to play smaller rooms like that. Like I said, I love playing house shows. Like
it's different if the room is like you can only fit maybe like 70 people in there.
Yeah.
I have to say, like, one of my favorite venues to this day is I think it's called Erie Legion out in Henderson.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And it's like a room.
Yeah.
Hey, come here.
Sammy.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, my dog's.
He really? Oh, you can see him. Hi,
yeah,
buddy.
Yeah. He's right here.
Oh
Sammy.
my gosh.
Come here, baby. It's okay. It's okay. Come here, buddy. Come here, buddy.
Is he a bulldog?
No. Here, come here. Come over here, buddy. No, are you gonna be difficult right now? That's okay. I love Eagle Area Hall. Like I said, I grew up down the street. Yeah, and so whenever they started doing shows there around 2013 or 2014, I was going there all the time. I saw some really, really cool bands.
Well, you saw Polyphia play there.
Yeah, I saw Polyphia play there whenever they were like a tiny band, and it was like maybe like 50 people showed up, like and I also saw Forever Came Calling there, I think in 2013. I've seen Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties play there. That was 2017. Yeah, I don't know. I now that you say it, I think that's my favorite venue in town because I just have so much like history and so many memories tied to it. So
yeah, the one show I went to there was Set It Off.
Oh, when was that?
Oh God, that was 2018. I want to say.
My old band opened for that show.
Seriously?
Yeah. So if you were there when Coastal Skyway was playing, that was Jack.
Yeah, I played 2 shows with them, and that was the second show that we played before we broke up. So that's really funny. Vegas is a really small town.
Yeah, it really is in every sense of the word small. Yeah. If people want to know more about you guys, they want to get in contact, they want to find out about the music, where do they go?
So Instagram is the best place to reach us in case you're trying to extend show offers or anything like that. But all of our social media is at Crumbcatcher NV, like NV as in Nevada. We except for TikTok, I guess that's just at Crumbcatcher.
We got lucky with that one.
Yeah, I was very early user of TikTok, so got lucky with my handles. But yeah, and then Crumbcatcher.band, Spotify, just Crumbcatcher, one word. There's another band that's I think 2 words. We are not them. They're based in like North Carolina. They make punk stuff. That's not us. We are Crumbcatcher, one word. Yeah, and then every streaming service too. If you want to check out our new record, Infinite Feedback.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down and kind of walk down memory lane.
Absolutely. That's something that I do. If you can't tell by my music, I'm a very I feel a lot of nostalgia very frequently. So especially for like my teen years. So
We'll get over it.
yeah, eventually.
No.
That's why we got therapy.
Yeah.
I'm in my mid-30s. You don't get over it. It just gets worse.
That's what our friends tell us.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to learn the hard way.
Exactly.
Well, thank you again so much. Thank you guys. So yeah, I will follow up with you guys later about possibly catching a show.
Awesome.
Right.
Yeah, just let us know. DM us on Instagram, obviously, and we'll be happy to get you in. So yeah, just let me know.
Well, thank you so much for your time again. Have a great night.
Thanks,
Give your
you as
puppy
well.
lots of loves.
Will do.
Have a good night.
All right, you too.
Have a good one.
All right, bye.
All right, everybody. So that was Crumb Catcher from here in Las Vegas, Nevada. New Midwest emo kind of band. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this live. Write down below what you would like or who you would like me to interview, and I will do my best to do that. Thank you guys so much for sticking around with us. Have a good one, and we'll see you next time.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast.
All right. Well, I hope you all enjoyed Inside the Music with Tina Bryce. Really an entertaining interview. I really enjoyed her guests. It seems like they were having such a great time. The energy was fantastic. Well, we are near the end of the first half of this marathon. And I hope you've been enjoying the podcast that we've had so far. We're going to get the second half of this marathon started very soon. We have some outstanding shows still to come. We have Vegas Hockey Hub with Ian Rakelli. We have Dana Does Voices. She's actually going to be coming on live and doing her wonderful voice acting. Always enjoy her contributions to the marathon. And then we're going to have an interview with Evelyn's Roundtable. She has a special guest, mayoral candidate Shelley Berkeley. That'll be a recording as well, but Shelley Berkeley, who is running for mayor of Las Vegas, is going to be the special guest of her show. So you want to stay tuned for the second half of the marathon here, the Labor Day weekend marathon for prconnectionsradio.com here at prconnectionsradio.com. Hope you're enjoying this. Look forward to seeing you all in a few minutes with the rest of the marathon. See you soon.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.